Aloha, I'm Lahaina Lee, and welcome to your Maui Real Estate Advisor January 2025 edition. Hey, we're kicking off the new year by taking a look back at 2024 and peeking into what's ahead. Spoiler alert, it's been a ride, so let's get started. First of all, let me officially say aloha and welcome to 2025. Can you believe it? Time flies, even if the building permits don't. Let's start with some highlights from 2024. Looking back, one major milestone was the cleanup of Lahaina. The Army Corps of Engineers stepped up big time. By the year's end, 100% of residential lots were cleared of debris, and 97% of commercial properties were also cleaned up. They're set to finish up the remaining commercial lots next month. So big props to the Army Corps. Also, historical buildings like the Seamen's Hospital and the Bishop House have been stabilized, and they're just waiting for permits to begin restoration. Fingers crossed on that one. Now, on to rebuilding. The first homes in Wahikuli, Kahoma, and Lahainaluna started construction in 2024. The first permit was issued in May, and by November, just 15 months after the fire, take note, LA friends, the first home was completed. Cheers to progress. On the Makai side of Honoapi'ilani Highway, that's the ocean side, permits are slowly rolling in. One owner was somehow able to get a permit early and has made great progress, but others had to wait a long time. But now a handful of homes are under construction. And now a side note to Governor Green. Hey Gov, in California, Governor Newsom has cut the red tape, made getting permits a little bit easier or maybe a lot easier. We're still going through the whole process over here. It's taken forever. Just saying. Okay, still looking back at 2024. 2024 wasn't without its drama. Remember the battle over short-term rentals? Hey, early in the year, the governor and the mayor pressured owners to offer their properties to fire-displaced residents or they would shut down short-term rentals. And, left hand talking to right hand, FEMA had its own plan. And it offered deals to short-term rental owners that were so generous they bordered on outrageous. But surprise, FEMA cut off its rental program just a few weeks in, almost as quickly as it started. And why? Because they said they had enough housing to meet their needs. Meanwhile, Mayor Beeson announced a plan to phase out short-term rentals in apartment zones where they are currently legal. That plan would cost Maui millions in tax revenue and cost the state over $1 billion. It's just a proposal, no bill yet, but the debate, oh yeah, that is very much alive. And speaking of struggles, let's talk tourism. Tourism is the driver of Maui's economy, and in 2024, tourism was, let's just say, not so great. Believe it or not, visitor numbers were lower than in 2023, the year of the Lahaina fire, and a staggering 24% below 2019 levels. West Maui was hit especially hard. Short-term rental occupancy was reported hovering just above 50% for the year, far below the usual 70 to 100% range. Another look back at real estate reminds us of another set of predictions early in the year that had to do with interest rates. Expert after expert predicted that home mortgage rates would drop into the 5% range. However, as of January 9 of this year, Fannie Mae is reporting the 30-year fixed rate is just barely under 7% at 6.93%. Of course, there are plenty of real estate watchers and us realtors who are hoping that rates still decline for 2025. However, with the recent actions and comments by the Fed, that doesn't seem likely. All of that is very concerning for rate-sensitive buyers, investors, and of course, us realtors again. It seems that rates, inventory, and the overall economy have had outsized effects on the Maui real estate market in 2024. It's been a wild ride, to say the least. So exactly what did that wild ride look like on the way to 2025? Well, we're going to throw a lot of data at you, so grab another cup of coffee or whatever beverage best suits your mood, and let's do the numbers. First, let's look at the condo market. Post-fire in 2023, real estate sales ground to a virtual halt, especially on the west side, the Lahaina Lee side. So with 2023 behind us, most of us were looking forward to a new beginning in 2024. We were also hoping for more inventory. So if you look at the sales trend, you can see that from January through May, the number of sales for condos only dropped below 70 units one time in the first 5 months, and it exceeded 90 condos per month in 3 of those 5 months. But on May 2nd, Mayor Beeson announced his proposal to phase out short-term rentals in apartment zones on the so-called Minatoya list. Of course, that frightened owners who had purchased condos with the intent of renting them for vacation rentals. After all, those condos had always been short-term rentals. They were built as short-term rentals, and they are legally allowed to do short-term rental. Of course, that's had a chilling effect on buyers contemplating buying a property that might decline in value because of its change in allowed use. Real estate brokers expected the proposal would have a significant negative effect on condos in apartment zoning. We did not expect the negative effect it has had on the entire condominium market. In June of 2024, the number of condo sales dropped below 70 units for only the second time during the year. There were never 70 units sold in any month in 2024 again. At the beginning of 2024, we were also expecting to see inventory of condos increase. Back in January of 2024, there were just 374 condos for sale, and we had 92 sales that month. Since that gave us about 4 months of inventory and 6 months is considered to be a balanced market, we were still in a seller's market at the beginning of the year. And while we were expecting to see some increase in inventory, what we got was way more than we ever expected to have to deal with. In December, we ended the year with 758 condos for sale and only 52 sales for the month. That gives us almost 15 months of condo inventory, and in the virtual blink of an eye, we had a buyer's market. Well, today it feels like there is more activity, but we shouldn't expect sales increasing significantly in the near future. Along with rising inventory and falling sales, we've seen the number of pendings, that's condos under contract that have not closed yet, drop to only 67 in December. I've only seen pendings drop below 200 condos under contract one time in the last 15 years. And how does all of that affect selling prices? Well, in watching the market very carefully to see what's happening, we see asking prices on existing listings being lowered every day. However, you don't see that reflected in the actual selling prices. In December, the median selling price was $874,000. That was up $144,000 over the previous month's $730,000. If you have ever dreamed of owning something on Maui, now would be a good time to take a serious look. Now, what about single-family homes? Single-family home sales stayed pretty steady throughout the year. Sales range from a high of 73 in May to a low of 51 in September and October. That may seem like a wide range, but if you look at the blue line on the graph, you'll see there's really not a lot of fluctuation in the number of sales. Inventory is represented by the red line on the graph. You can see that inventory started fairly low at only 225 homes for sale in January and just steadily increased, finishing the year with 373 homes for sale. That indicates that we have over 6 months of inventory, and the single-family home market is tilting slightly in favor of buyers. However, Maui real estate supply and demand is very regional. We can touch on that just a little bit later. That brings us to pending sales. If you look at the number on the green line in the chart, you can see there was not much variation in the number of pendings per month throughout the year. However, that variation, and what variation there is, seems to be trending downward. The purple line represents the median selling price, and you can see that that has a couple of wiggles in it. However, if you look at the chart showing the median prices across the year, you can see that right about 1.3 million was pretty consistent. The average selling price, on the other hand, shows a bit more of a wild ride throughout the year. Those big fluctuations come from sales and the lack of sales at the luxury end of the market. As I mentioned above, real estate activity in each of Maui regions is different, and whether you're in a buyer's market or a seller's market really depends on which region you are in. Let's look at it for instance. West Maui currently has 85 homes for sale. There are only 7 pending. The pending represent the sales for the next month or two. On average, there are only 5 sales per month occurring on the west side. That is clearly a buyer's market. But before you get too excited, you might want to know that the median asking price for a home in West Maui is $4 million. And the average asking price is $5.7 million. So if you're looking for a great deal on a luxury home, now is really a good time to be shopping. As a contrast, we can look at Central Maui. That has 66 homes for sale. There are currently 36 homes under contract that will close in the next month or so. For the last 6 months, there have been about 21 homes per month that have been selling in Central Maui. That means there's roughly 3 months of inventory, and it puts Central Maui firmly in a seller's market. The median asking price there is $1.3 million, and the average asking price is just over $1.4 million. That makes Central Maui Maui's most affordable area. And just an editorial note, there is a lot of newer inventory in Central Maui, and there are some very nice homes in that 1.3 to 1.4 range. So, looking ahead, what does 2025 hold? Will mortgage rates drop below 7%? Will the short-term rental proposal move forward? And will Lahaina's rebuilding plans gain traction? There are plenty of question marks, but one thing's for certain. It'll be another year of twists and turns, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Thanks for tuning in to the January 2025 edition of Your Maui Real Estate Advisor. If you have any questions or comments, and certainly if you have any answers, drop them in the section below. Until next time, this is still Lahaina Lee, still on Maui, still not in Lahaina, but it's a beautiful day in paradise. Enjoy it if you're here. Come visit if you're not. Aloha!